So you're brand new to yoga. My newer yoga students always ask me the same questions. What should I wear? What kind of mat should I use? And what is a downward dog? I'm going to try to answer those questions for you in this video. So what to wear? The basic answer to that question is anything that's stretchy and comfortable that you can really move around in. These are my favorite yoga pants. They're just a cotton blend. They're very stretchy and they're nice and warm. Up top, I usually always layer, so I have the undershirt under my regular shirt. And that works great for me. It's something I can really move in, and it's just the right weight. Often I'll start as well with a sweat jacket over top while I do my warm-up, and then as the class goes on, I'll just take that off. So you can wear something like this, or you could wear something like this. So these pants that I have on are more of a sweatpants style. They have the flared leg. The material is a bit more spandex, but it's still stretchy, kind of like those other ones I was wearing. And this material is a little bit more cool. Up top, same thing. I got the layers going on, just with a very stretchy shirt. So you can wear something like this. That's totally appropriate if you're going to a yoga class. Or you can wear something like this. So basically, this is your summer yoga outfit. I've got the cropped spandex pants and a nice cool shirt. Or if you live in a warmer climate, you probably never would wear the long pants. You would just go with a shorter pant like this one. The bottom line is just wear whatever's comfortable to you, whatever you like, and something that you can really move in and have a full range of motion. Another question I get asked a lot is, what kind of mat should I get? Since you're just getting started, go ahead and buy a mat that's less expensive. You should be able to find one for under 20 bucks. The main thing you want to look for is that it has a good surface. So if you can, in the store, if you can feel it, you want it to grip your hand, meaning that it'll grip your foot when you stand on it. You don't want a mat that's slippery. So when you go into your lunges, you really want your foot to stick to the mat. That's the most important thing. I actually like to use a less expensive mat that's a little thinner, but I just use 2 of them. And that's plenty soft. It has a great surface with a nice grip. There's really no other equipment that you need other than your mat. I always have water close by when I'm doing a class. And I often make sure I have on my favorite toenail polish. Other than that, you're good to go. So look for that good grip in your mat. Okay, so now you know what to wear and you know what kind of yoga mat to use. Now I'm going to show you just a couple poses that would be good to know before you take your very first yoga class. The first one I'm going to show you is called a mountain pose. All you need to do is stand up super tall. Now this is a very simple pose, but it's not necessarily easy. There's a lot going on. First thing you want to do is ground your feet down into your mat very firmly and try to make sure that your foot is level. Don't let it turn out or turn in. So you might need to roll your feet a little bit until you really feel like all 4 corners of your feet are pressing down into the mat. And then you want to engage your thighs, your quads, make them tight, and then really engage your core. This is a major core exercise because that's what's holding you up to be nice and tall. Your shoulders are going to come back and then down, which will really open your chest. The top of your head is reaching up toward the ceiling. So just like it's called a mountain pose, you want to feel very strong and grounded in this pose. And then you'll close your eyes and just take a couple breaths. In my class, we come back to this pose quite often. So you want to learn what it feels like. So when you're standing up, coming out of a pose, you can just go right into your mountain. Your legs are tight, your feet are pushing down into the mat, your core's engaged, your shoulders are down and back. Because I don't want to have to say that every time. So really learn what that feels like and get into your mountain pose. And let me show you what that looks like from the front. So feet are slightly separated, core engaged, shoulders down and back, chin level. And that is your mountain pose. Okay, the next one I want to show you is called a tree pose. And this is used in the balancing section of classes when we practice our balance. You've probably seen pictures of this one. What you're gonna do is stand on one foot, shift your weight in your hips is where your balance is. So move those over your straight leg that you're standing on. And then you wanna begin to practice lifting your other foot up off the floor. Just do that a few times until you can feel that you have your balance. Then the object is to turn the knee out and place the foot along your leg. Again, really pull in that core. It's your mountain pose, same thing, only you're lifting your leg. So we're gonna bring it up as high as we can, and anywhere along your leg is fine. Just watch the knee. I wouldn't place it on the knee and push real hard. So either go below or go above. And push pretty hard if you're gonna have your foot higher on your leg. And then engage the core, and you're gonna raise your arms up. You're gonna raise the branches and just be as tall as you can. Really concentrating on keeping your core very tight. Lower the arms and come out of it. There you go. That's your tree pose. All right, the next pose, downward facing dog. You've probably heard that name, and I'm sure you've seen a picture of it. It's used in almost every yoga class because it's a nice full body stretch and strengthening pose. We're gonna start this one by coming down on our hands and knees into a tabletop. And you wanna make sure you're nice and square whenever you start a pose, and that you are aligned, meaning that wrist is under elbow, elbow under shoulder. So those joints are all lined up. And then knees are under hips. That's lined up too. So you're in your tabletop, and to go up in the down dog, you're gonna tuck your toes under and then just lift the hips. Now, when you first do this for the first time, it feels really awkward. But that's okay. After you learn it, it feels really good. So let me show you how to straighten your back. The first time you go up, you're probably gonna be like this, almost like in a tabletop with your hips raised. But the object is to flatten the back. So what you wanna do is bend the knees a lot. Then raise the hips and drop the head. See how it's straightening out my back? That's the object. That's what you wanna do first. Now your hamstrings, the muscle that runs down the back of your legs, are probably gonna be tight if you're just getting started. So you're gonna need to practice just walking the heels down one at a time. You're not gonna be able to get in the down dog and flatten your heels. That's just unrealistic. So walk it out, and you'll start to feel your legs really warming up as you do that. See how my hands are spread out, my fingers are really wide, which gives me a great base. And my feet are at least hip width apart. So let's come back down into a tabletop, and we'll do it one more time. So you'll square up, and then get those toes tucked under, and then just lift the hips, bend the knees a lot, flatten the back, get that done first. And you may need to adjust a little bit by moving your toes either back or forward. If you have your feet too close to your hands, you're gonna look more like this. And that's not what we're going for either. And if you have your hands and feet too far apart, you won't be able to get the V because you'll be too far apart. So it does take some practice to figure out where you should be so that you can really lift the hips and flatten the back. And that, my friend, is a downward facing dog. All right, and the last pose I want to show you is called a warrior two. Again, you've probably seen a picture of this. I'm going to show it to you by stepping back into it. You're going to start in your mountain pose, and then you're going to step one leg back pretty far. So look down at your mat. You should have maybe a yardstick distance between your feet. Mine might be a little bit more, but to get started, that'd be a good place to start. Then, kind of like that mountain, you really strengthen the core and lift. And then we're going to sink in to a lunge on that front leg. And what you're trying to do is get your knee over the ankle. To have it behind is okay, but what you want to avoid is this, having your foot too close. Now watch my knee. When I lunge, my knee's going way out over my toes. And when it does that, it puts a lot of torque on your knee joint. You can really damage your knee doing that. So what you would need to do is slide your foot forward and then go into your lunge until you feel a nice inner thigh stretch. Knee is over ankle. Okay, lift the rib cage, shoulders down. We're going to open up the hands, and look forward over the front fingertips. And then what you're trying to do is raise your head toward the ceiling and really press your feet into the floor. I don't know if you can see it, but because I'm pushing down into my mat so hard, my mat is actually buckling. It's like stretching. So if you have a nice torque on your feet, your mat will start to buckle. That's a good thing. So tall, really open the hands, chin is forward, and you're just trying to be as strong and as wide open as your hands can go. And that is your warrior two. Okay, now what I want to show you is a downward facing dog into that warrior two that we just did. As you learn more poses, then you'll learn how to combine them and you'll move through them more quickly when you go through the classes. So it looks like this. We'll do our downward dog first. So we're down like this. Hands open wide, hips nice and high. Still walking the heels down if you need to. Always check, make sure your back is straight. Get those heels down. Okay, I'm in a down dog. And now I'm going to step forward and come up in that warrior two. Looks like that. Can't wait to see you at your first yoga class. Love be with you. Or if you live in Alaska, something like this might be more appropriate.